Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Jake, and today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. So as you can see, I'm back in my usual filming location, or my original filming location. I think I might go back to the corner, because I kind of liked it more, but you guys let me know what you enjoy more, because I'm doing this for you, so I guess you guys matter. I don't know, why do I look so weird right now? As you can see, my hair has faded to like a weird coppery orange color. So it's time for me to re-dye that. So also let me know what colors I should do, because I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Anyways, my January wrap-up. So this month I read 12 books, and that's good. I mean, I'm happy with 12 because Mika from Mika August also read 12, and all that matters to me is reading more than her. So currently we're tied. Funny, it's February 8th right now. We both have read 5 books this month too, so we're staying head to head. So I don't know who's gonna come out on top. But anyways, I do kind of want to start having more statistics in my wrap-up videos, because I really enjoy watching videos that do that. But this month we're not going to do that because I don't have a lot of time to film. So I'm just trying to get this shit done, and I didn't have much time to sit down and think about this. So let's just start. Also, I used to do it in order of ratings. Like, I would talk about my least favorite books to my favorite books. This year, or at least this month, I'm going to see how I like it. I'm just going to talk about the books in the order that I read them, because I think that makes more sense. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, but this is what I'm going to try. So, the first book I read in January, and the first book I read in 2019, is Everlist by Sarah Holland. This book was in my December TBR. My BookTube friends choose my December TBR, as well as the next two. So this one was chosen by Mika from Mika August, and I really liked it. This was like her favorite book, so I knew I'd like it. Mika and I have really similar reading tastes, so going into it, I was aware that I'd probably enjoy it. This follows a girl whose father, she lives in a world in which time is currency, so everyone has a certain amount of time that they get to live. And in order to buy things and do stuff like pay rent, stuff like that, they have to pay in blood, which is their currency in the world. And her father is running out of time. So she decides to become a servant at Everlist, which is the palace in this world. People are walking around upstairs. Why do I get so angry so fast? Anyways, so she decides to become a servant at Everlist because they're paying a lot of currency for each week or month or there, whatever. And let me tell you, I don't know why this fantasy series isn't talked about more. It was literally so interesting. I actually wanted to read it last year when it came out, but then I decided against it because I was like, oh, it doesn't sound that good, oh, whatever. And I wish I did read it then. The second book came out at the end of December, Evermore, so it's a duology. I think everybody should read this, honestly. Like, if you like fantasy, you'll like this. It's not too hard to get into. Funny thing is, though, I called every single plot twist before it happened in this book. I literally would text Mika, oh, this is my theory, blah, 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 and she'd be like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And then I read it, and I was right. And I don't know how I did it, because I don't really think this book was that predictable, if we're being honest. Like, I don't know how I guessed all these. Like, a lot of them, too, were just shit that I was like, wow, that's probably gonna happen, and it was so, like, far-fetched that I was like, it's definitely not gonna happen. And then it happened, so I was like, okay, Sarah, I see you. But yes, I highly recommend this book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next up was Steph from Steph OK's pick for my December TBR video. And yes, I know it's January. I didn't read them all in December. Get off my ass. And it was Hawkeye versus Deadpool. This is just like a single volume comic. I believe there might be more, but they're not necessarily like a series. And I'm a big fan of Deadpool, and I'm a big fan of Hawkeye. So going into this, I was like, this is gonna be perfect. Like, two characters I love coming together. How can this be bad? It was bad. It was not necessarily terrible, but I did not enjoy it very much, mostly because of Deadpool. Deadpool literally drove me insane in this. Like, he was not the Deadpool I know. Like, he didn't seem like Deadpool from other comics and the movies. He just was very, I don't know, he was over the top in this, which I know Deadpool's an over the top character, but in this he was unbearable. Like, usually I love him, but in this I could not do it. Hawkeye, though, I loved Hawkeye in this. And he was hot. Let me find me a nice picture of Hawkeye. Also, I realize when I talk about mangas and comics, I never show the artwork. So I'm going to try and start doing that because that's a selling point for a lot of people, so that might help you decide if you'd like to read these or not. So here's some of the artwork that's in it. The artwork was good. I did enjoy the artwork, like, that didn't let me down at all, but overall, the story of this and Deadpool, just didn't care for it, so I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. This is Brody from A2 Brody's Pick, and it is Jack of Hearts and Other Parts by Elsie Rosen. This was, I really enjoyed it. It is about a gay guy in high school who everyone spreads rumors about him, about his sex life. So, like, the book starts off with 3 girls talking about a threesome he had at this party. So, it's pretty much about this guy, like, who does have a lot of sex, but people take that and they make up stories. So, it's about him trying to make it through high school, and then his best friend decides to start she has a blog, and she decides she wants a column on it, in which Jack does a sex column where he answers sex advice, or just advice in general, that people anonymously ask him, and he goes by Jack of Hearts on this, so he's anonymous as well, even though his name's Jack, so he wasn't that anonymous. Everyone knew who it was, but whatever. And the main point of the story is he has a secret admirer that's getting, like, increasingly hostile and just mean. So it's about him trying to figure that out, as well as make it through all these rumors that people at the school are making. This is a very sex-positive YA book, and it's even, like, and it's about a gay guy, so that's amazing. Yeah, so there's a lot of sex in this, and a lot of talk about sex, and it's all gay sex, so if you don't want to read about gay sex, you probably shouldn't read this, but I highly recommend this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is my favorite read of the month of January, and it's definitely going to be on my top 10 books of 2019, and it'll probably be in the top 3, and that is The Wicked King by Holly Black. Let me tell you, I can't talk about what this book is about because it's a sequel to The Cruel Prince, and you all probably know what The Cruel Prince is about, so I'm not going to talk about it either, but this was even better than The Cruel Prince. Like, this easily takes the cake on my favorite book out of the 2. I still need to read The Lost Sisters, but anyways, I really didn't care for Cardan in the first book, and it wasn't because I thought he was mean and cruel. I mean, he was, but like I said in one of my past videos, Cardan I think's like more of a soft boy than anything, because compare him to the rest of the fae and fairies in this world, he's not that bad, so whatever. But I actually really liked Cardan in this. Jude's still my bitch, though. She's the best character in the series, and I won't take any other answer. I don't even know how to talk about this. It was just amazing from beginning to end. I read most of it on the day after release day, and then, yeah. So, it was amazing. I don't even know how to talk about it. That ending pissed me off a lot, but, like, I know there's gonna be a point behind it, so I'm not that mad, because whatever. But yeah, I'm just rambling. 5 out of 5 stars. This next one was my only reread in January, and it was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I read this for the biannual Bibliothon, which, yeah. There's also The Hunger Along going on, which I didn't read it for The Hunger Along in January, but then I realized The Hunger Along was going on, so now I'm going to read the next 2 books for The Hunger Along. Anyways, everyone knows what The Hunger Games is about. This is my first time reading it since 7th grade, and I am 2 years out of high school now, so it's been a long time. And I enjoyed it more than I did originally, like 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. I kind of want to reread it again. But Catching Fire is my favorite book in the series, or at least it was back then, so very excited to get to that this month. But yes, 5 out of 5 stars. I really want to get better at my wrap-ups and reviews. I think I'd be a lot better if I sat down beforehand and kind of got my thoughts together. So I'm going to probably try doing that next month, but for now, we're not doing that. My next read was my December Book of the Month pick for 2018, because I have a goal, like, I have to read books the month I get them, is my 2019 goal. So I just decided might as well get my December Book of the Month out of the way. So I read No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is a thriller that follows a girl who is on her way home because her mother's, like, dying. So she's on her way home to say her goodbyes, whatever, and there's a big snowstorm happening. She has to stop at this rest stop, in which there are 4 other people. So she's getting to know these people. She goes outside for a minute trying to get reception, and she walks by this van. And in this van, she sees a little girl in a cage. So that's what this is about. This is about her in this rest stop with these 4 people. She's trying to figure out whose car that is, and pretty much trying to save this little girl while also trying to keep herself safe and everyone else there with her safe. This was fucked up. Like, there's some gory parts in this, so just a little bit of a warning. It's not really, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a big mystery, because she finds out pretty early on who is the one that kidnapped this girl. So this is more of a survival story, which I enjoyed that aspect. Like, I would have probably been bored if it was like a mystery the whole time. So I really enjoyed the survival aspect of this. But yeah, so you find out early on who has the girl. And honestly, I really like the characters. Like, I thought they were interesting characters to read about. They're not your typical, like, bad people characters that did take the girl. They're, like, everyday characters, like, weird people. And, yeah, so this was really good. I don't remember what I gave the rating. It was either a 4 or a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I had a good reading month this month, to be honest with you. I do really recommend this if you like horror or thrillers. It's not, there's no horror elements. It's like, it's all real life stuff, but it reads kind of like a horror book, just with the survival aspect of it, and it's really good. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie ATM. It has Josh Peck in it, and I don't know why this book reminded me of that, but I decided to start a new manga series this month because I ordered a bunch of manga in November for Black Friday, so I decided I should probably start one of those series since I got some bundles, and I have 5 of this series. So I read, again, Volume 1 by Mitsuru Kubo. This follows a high school boy. It's his day of graduation. He made it through all 4 years of high school, and he's kind of like thinking back through about how he never really did anything in high school. He never tried to make friends. He never joined any clubs, and he kind of regrets it. So he's upset. And a situation happens in which he's thrown back to the first day of high school, his first day of freshman year. So he gets a chance to redo everything. This was really interesting to me. Like, it was an interesting concept, so going into it, I was excited to read it. It follows this sport, or I don't even know if it's a sport. Like, kind of like cheerleading, but it's not. It's a thing in Japan. They, like, scream, chant. I don't know how to explain it. She's, like, the captain of this team. So he gets into that, and it just follows pretty much him trying to make it through high school the second time. And I'm very excited to continue the series. I only gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It kept me reading. Like, there wasn't a point in which I wanted to stop reading, but I feel like it could have been a lot more interesting, especially once the sport was, like, involved. After it started with that, I really stopped losing interest as much as I did at first because it wasn't that interesting to me. I really love her. She's an icon. But yeah, so this is kind of like the art in it. It's really cute. But yeah, again. Next up is a new all-time favorite thriller of mine. And it was my book of the month pick for January. I actually picked 2. I picked this book called The Night Tiger 2, which I didn't read in January, so I'm going to have to read that soon. But it is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But anyways, this follows a psychotherapist who is interested in this girl. She was a painter, and she had a husband who was a photographer, so they're a very artsy couple. And one day, she ended up going crazy and killing him. After she killed him, she was completely silent. Like, she hasn't said a word since. So no one knows why she did it, so this follows him trying to figure out, like, why she ended up doing it. It is it's not thrilling. It's a slow mystery book, and I usually don't like that, but for this, it was so good. Like, the whole time you're figuring stuff out, and that's the kind of mystery I like, is when they give you all of the clues you need to, like, make your own assumption at the end, and then you get to see if you're correct or not. And let me tell you, I was completely shook, shocked, and shaken at the end of this book. Completely. Like, I did not even start to call what happened. It's probably the most surprising YA mystery thriller that or YA, this is not YA. This is definitely not YA. This is adult. But it's probably the most shocking ending I've ever read in a mystery book. Yeah, I would say this is the most surprising ending I've ever read, and it was so good. Like, I loved it. I was a little bit upset at the end, but it still was good. Didn't take away from anything, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. So good! I have a book club in which each month we have a word. All 3 of us choose a book that has to do with that word, and then we vote on the book we want to read out of the 3. So for January, our word was revenge. So we ended up reading Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. This was actually my choice, so. But This follows 3 girls that live on this island. All of them are very different. They're not friends. One of them's a popular girl, one of them's a new girl, and then one of them's like the outcast girl. And they all have a specific person that they want to get revenge at. So they all decide to band together to help each other get this revenge. This was really good. I thought it was going to be like a stupid YA. They're going to do like, wow, they're going to prank call them. Ooh, like I thought it was going to be stupid shit, but they did some shit to these people that was a little over the top. And I loved it. Like, I loved that these girls were not taking it anymore. Like, they were treated like shit, so they came back and they got their revenge, and it was really fucking good. My only issues with this book were, my favorite character was definitely her. I think her name was Mary. Mary Lily Cat, yeah. So my favorite character was definitely her, but out of the 3 girls, she had the least, like, about her, like, I don't know. And honestly, I think, like, she had the saddest story, she was treated the worst, so I was most interested in her, but Lily annoyed me a little bit, because she has a younger sister that's a character in this book as well. And the way her sister's a freshman, she's a junior or senior. I think she's a senior. But the way she treated her sister, like, it wasn't even mean. She was just overprotective. Like, she wouldn't let her sister wear lipstick to a dance because of her age. Some of the things she did just pissed me off, and, like, I still think about it, and I'm like, the fuck, bitch? But whatever. I liked all 3 of the characters, so don't get me wrong. I did like them. But yeah, so I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I will be continuing the series because it's a trilogy. These next 2 books I read for my Classics book club, which let's talk about for a minute, because I'm done doing that. I only did it for 1 month, but I realized I do want to do a book club, but I don't want to do a classic book club, because classics are something that I enjoy kind of sometimes, but overall I just prefer to do a book club about a genre that I actually enjoy. I did this book club to make myself read classics more, but I don't want to do it anymore, so I'm sorry if that, like, to disappoint if anyone was actually participating in that, but, so yeah. I'm still going to be reading a classic a month that I'll talk about in my February TBR, so if you guys want to buddy read classics with me, 100% down to do that. But, so it is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. This edition doesn't have Through the Looking Glass, but my other edition's in my pile of books somewhere, and, oh, I see it! It's right there. Anyways, I just didn't feel like looking for it, but apparently it wasn't that hard to find. So, obviously, this was a reread for me, both of them. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and then Through the Looking Glass, I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. I'll tell you why. So, Alice in Wonderland, it's really good. Y'all know the story. It's very quirky. It's very fun. It's cool. There's, like, even for adults to read it, like, you pick up on a lot of stuff you wouldn't read as a kid when you read this story, so that's kind of cool. Through the Looking Glass still confuses the fuck out of me. Like, I don't know how a kid could read that and understand it, but yeah. I don't want to talk about this too much because I really don't know how to talk about this, but Alice in Wonderland's one of my favorite classics. I'm trying to, like, the book I'm currently writing is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, so obviously I really enjoy it. I have like 7 copies of it, but yeah, so. The last thing I read in January was another graphic novel, and it was from my favorite graphic novel series, The Walking Dead, Volume 30, New World Order. I've spoken about The Walking Dead on my channel before. This series is amazing. Like, I don't watch the show anymore. I haven't for years because I just thought it went to shit. But this graphic novel series is still keeping on top of things. Like, I gave this another 5 out of 5 stars. In this book, 30 volumes went by, and in this book, you meet a character that you've heard about since the beginning. Well, not since the beginning. Since, like, volume 10. Like, you meet a character that you think's dead, and they're all of a sudden you actually meet this person. I'm not gonna spoil who, because I was completely shocked when it happened. It was so good. You also meet the New World Order in this, which is the new group that the main group meets. You don't know if they're good or bad yet, but I'm hoping they're good, because I'm sick of, like, wow, they meet a new group they think's good. They end up being bad. Like, I'm sick of that. Have there be a good group. Make zombies an issue for once. Like, it's a zombie apocalypse novel, and most of the issues revolve around people. Like, do something with zombies again. But yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really fucking enjoyed it, and I can't wait for volume 31. Like, I need to know what happens next. I want to know what happens with this group. So yeah, those were all the books that I read in January. I'm trying to read 20 books in February, so my February wrap-up is going to be very long if I achieve that goal. But yeah, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, like if you really want to. Like I said, comment down below if you like my setup here, or if I should move back to my corner bookshelf. Thank you for watching. Bye.